Imagine getting into an argument with Patrick Jane and getting out of it without losing it. Well, that would be something quite hard to do, as I'm sure Patrick Jane fans know how he loves to win an argument while sipping on a cup of tea. For those of you who don't know who Patrick Jane is, he's the protagonist from the show The Mentalist, where he portrays the strong role of an independent consultant who has a kick for solving cases with his psychic abilities and strong knowledge in the field of psychology. No one likes to get into an argument, but in some stances, an argument is inevitable and cannot be avoided. In fact, we're faced with such scenarios on a daily basis where arguments could just sprout out of the blue, and dealing with them in the right way is very important. Leaving an argument without being understood, or worst-case scenario, losing it, is not a position anyone would like to be in. So how do we deal with winning an argument in the right way, or in other words, like Patrick Jane? Hello and welcome to our channel, First Class Mind. In this video, I will talk you through how to effortlessly defend yourself in an argument. So without further ado, let's get started. 1. Let others speak first. First up, wait till the other person finishes speaking. Speaking over what they have to say doesn't really end the argument on a positive note. In fact, carefully listening to what the other person is saying may help you understand open loopholes that could be used to defend your side of the argument. Patrick Jane is a great listener. In fact, he catches up on hints that no one would have caught up on. Listening could really reveal a lot, may it be in a conversation or any argument. Patrick Jane always listens, and that, apart from his psychic abilities, really makes him quite the conversationalist while trying to extract the right kind of information from people. No wonder he fits in perfectly as a consulting member of the CBI. Apart from listening, what and how you respond also plays a major role. Words hold a lot of value when spoken, and it's important to put them out there in the right way. We will speak about this a little while later, but first, let's tell you a little bit about the tone in which you convey your words. 2. Keep your voice calm and don't interrupt. The tone in which one speaks during an argument also plays a significant role. Patrick Jane never raises his voice to win an argument.
You're very noble and dignified, very stoic, a Jackie O thing going on there.
In fact, considering his past, he should have turned out to be a loud person who isn't careful with the words that he spews out. But the opposite seemed to happen in this case. The tone in which he argues or even speaks is quite calm and composed. This often confuses the person conversing with him, leading them to trust him faster than in other circumstances. Now, during arguments, you're often caught interacting with conversation bullies. But who exactly are conversation bullies? Conversation bullies are those who talk over you during a conversation and don't give time for the opposite person to even speak and put out what they think. Dealing with conversation bullies are something we do encounter from time to time, especially with those who always think that they're right. Dealing with them could be quite unpleasant and could often heat up the scenario even more. The first thing to do in such a scenario would be to keep quiet and understand if the opposing side is aware of the topic that they're arguing about or not.
Sorry, you wanted off this case? You're off. Can take a nap in your thinking room. We'll solve this case without you the right way, with good, solid detective work.
If not, it is easy to end a conversation then and there by spilling out facts that are true and that eradicate any falsehood in the argument that may have spread from the opposing side. In short, you could disrupt the conversation bully politely. But if that doesn't work due to a lack of facts or information from them, encourage the conversation bully to say more. Once enough facts are gathered, you could either turn them into an ally or humble them with the truth. Remember what Patrick Jane did with Red John in the 3rd season of the show? Well, that is exactly how you deal with a true conversation bully.
It's great to meet you. Face to face, so to speak.
You put that gun away and I'll show you what I can do.
3. Setting on common grounds. But if the other person in the argument does have true knowledge of what they're talking about, it's best to find something that you both could settle on and take the conversation forward into healthy grounds from there. Settling on common grounds requires you to identify bits of information that you both agree on and show that you both are on the same page. Every time Patrick Jane tries to juice out information from a suspect, most of the time it involves relating to the suspect and making them feel that he's on their side. Once the trust is bought by them, he attacks and gets them to release information when they least expect it. In arguments, you may have often heard of terms such as "so you're saying," or even terms such as "what do you have to say for yourself?" What usually follows is usually intimidation, leaving one to be quite careful about what they say next. In fact, using these terms yourself could help you intimidate the person you are in an argument with. 4. Ask questions and keep calm. Asking questions and asking the right number of questions is a very significant part of winning an argument like a boss. In fact, it has been noticed that bombarding the opponent with consecutive questions in an articulate way definitely does intimidate the opponent, which could even lead them to give up the argument and let you win. Though Patrick Jane is quite the listener, he does ask quite a few questions at the appropriate time. But if you're in a situation where the opponent is the one bombarding questions back at you, understand and define what your truth is. To do so, you must be aware of what your truth is. Based on that, provide answers. Provide answers that are simple and one that the other side could agree to, if not fully, partially at least. Another great tip to handle such a situation would be to slow the tempo of the questions that are being thrown at you by repeating their question or asking them to repeat their question slowly. Also, replying to one or a few of their questions could help slow down the tempo of the conversation. Patrick Jane is quite witty when he has to be, and some of the dialogues that he says really show how important words are. Every word that is spoken in a conversation or an argument always has some hidden meaning in it. Finding the hidden meaning out and understanding what the person is saying, as well as understanding the person's truth, is very important. As we mentioned earlier, finding common ground is very important. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're altering what you believe in or what the other person believes in, but are finding that common area in which you both can agree to something. Though we feed our minds and make ourselves mentally strong, it's also very important to note that how we look on the outside during a conversation also speaks volumes. Apart from the obvious three-piece suit with no tie that Patrick Jane characteristically wears, the man holds on to a confident posture no matter what situation he's in. 5. Maintain relaxed body posture. Apart from the words spoken, it's very important to maintain good body language while having a conversation. One's posture must be relaxed and not tense. People tend to tense up when they are on the verge of losing an argument, and in such stances, when it shows through the body language, the other person notices this and feels like they're already winning. In fact, keeping the posture relaxed helps one win the argument too. Being relaxed physically helps one relax mentally, which further aids one in thinking less frantically and more with logic. Speaking of logic, apart from it being more relatable helps calm the argument down or even maybe win it. Adding examples or putting out a personal story is another tactic that helps people win arguments. This is due to the fact that they're more relatable in this stance, and though many may consider it as an emotional manipulation, it does do the trick. In fact, this could also help the argument reach a place where both sides can agree on something which lies in the arena of common grounds. For instance, Patrick Jane is always trying to relate to his suspects, and in many scenarios, he's able to do so due to his rough past. This has often helped him solve cases by finding the right kind of information to get the right people caught. Patrick Jane is not the kind of man to get into arguments. In fact, he's way beyond that and doesn't let arguments distract him from attaining his main goal. With every experience, may it be an argument or a conversation, a person does metamorphose into a new version of themselves, and that is true for Patrick James too. Imagine Patrick Jane getting into an argument with Teresa Lisbon. Well, let's leave that discussion for another time.